individually.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the March 19th, 2015 meeting of the City of Las Vegas Arts Commission to order. Are we in compliance with open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
Would the clerk please take the roll?
Okay. Chair Golden,
Here.
Vice Chair Novak. Member Michaels, Member Abelman,
Present.
Member Tupas,
Here.
Member Trimble,
Here.
Member Cartel, Member Alvarez,
Present.
Member Weinstein,
Here.
Member Shestak,
Here.
Member Schneider, and Member Dina. Here. Thank you.
Please let it be noted that we have established a quorum. Moving forward, I'd like to read the top item before the agenda begins. Items listed on the agenda may be taken out of order presented. Two or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item of the agenda may be removed. Related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from the acting city clerk at the city clerk's office. I do not believe anything has changed as of the agenda items before us at this point. I would like to read number 3. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. I believe we have one person speaking today in item number 10. Is anybody else in the audience speaking today? Yes, we have somebody else. Would you like to speak now or at the end of the meeting? Okay. If you'd like to come up and identify yourself.
Ed Fuentes, community member, I guess. This sort of pertains to the PR committee, but just to give a little debrief that my little blog, paintthisdesert.com, the funding is completed, and a report has been made to the Warhol Foundation in New York, and they were actually very excited to know that it is a very active arts community out here. And since I started actually with this committee, I thought maybe kind of make the official last hello, goodbye. The blog is now of out-of-pocket expense, but it will still be available for outreach. I'm going to start to do video and long-form essay. So it's still available as long as I'm around and keep doing it. But I wanted to say thanks to commission committee members who I've got to know over the last year. But the one little thing that I haven't written about that actually would go with your PR group, and I've had discussions with other people, is you have a benchmark coming up with the 10-year anniversary of the 100th Centennial Mural Program. And you're also talking about restoration and conservation. But I think that it might be something to discuss off item, off table, in the hallway, that it might be a great time to do a rededication of some of the murals that have been around, that have become part of the neighborhood. Because in terms of public art out here, that's 10 year is a big, big time. I mean, in comparison to Los Angeles, where you're looking at 20 years, 30 years, it's a little different, but I think it just shows how active that this group has been for a long time. And you're talking about how to get your name out there more, a rededication to top 5 murals, and maybe one that's now no longer there, bringing some of the artists back, and not to rededicate all of them, but it might be a really good gesture to get you folks back on the map a little bit. That's my last little suggestion, officially. Everything else is just random conversation, but I want to say thanks to the City of Las Vegas for lots of information sharing through the year.
And we appreciate your activities, and that has been very positive to have your input into the city. I would like to take that last remark about murals and maybe forward that on to our PR committee to add to their meeting with the city and see if something can be generated as some sort of event. Does anybody else in the audience wish to speak? Okay, I would like to move on for item number 4, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the PR marketing subcommittee of the January 16th meeting. I'm going to take these in the same orders. You have before you, I believe, copies of the January 16th PR minutes. Does anybody have any question of those minutes? A lot of times those are also submitted to you by Main Street Ad Hoc Committee of February 5th.
Chair, can we vote on them separately?
We can if you wish.
I would.
Okay. Do I hear a recommendation to vote on the January 16th PR Marketing Subcommittee?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion has been made. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That motion passes. Let us move on to the Main Street Subcommittee meeting of February 5th, 2015. Does anybody have any questions or information or changes on those minutes? Mr. Chairman? Okay. No changes have been requested. Do I hear a motion on those minutes? So moved. I'll give you some credit. You've approved that. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, final minutes that we have are the regular meetings of the Art Commission meeting as of December 18th. We have several of these. Do we have all of these?
Yes,
Have they been submitted?
yes.
Okay, yes, we did. December 18th, January 15th, and February 19th. We have three. Take your time. I'll give you a minute to kind of run us through it all.
Here's on the spelling bee.
Yes, please.
On the 18th, number 5, when we were just giving announcements of activities, not a BDEAM gallery.
Oh, yes.
And then, I don't know, are we in December 18th?
We can.
Any of them?
If we're in December 18th,
Item number 7, Nicole Kistler's last name still wasn't put in.
okay. Let's make sure. Could you repeat that?
Yep, you bet. Item number 7, Nicole Kistler. There's question marks there. And her last name is Kistler. Kistler, I believe.
Yes. Thank you.
You bet.
I'm with you.
Okay. Anybody else on the December 18th minutes? Okay, can I have a motion on December 18th? So moved. Commissioner Cook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from these, voting on these minutes.
January 15th, any changes, corrections? Do I hear a motion for approval on those?
Might as well be doing them.
Yes. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And finally, February 19th, minutes. Anybody have any changes? Questions? Do I hear a motion for approval? Eight again.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Feel like an auction. All in favor of approving the February 19th minutes? Aye. They pass. Okay. Moving on to item number 5, report of the Art Commission Chair, which is myself. I would just like to read a couple of events that are coming up that you may be aware of, and I'll ask other commission members in a second to voice any activities in the community they'd like to bring to the attention of the public record, which I would appreciate. Wednesday, April 1st, at the historic Fifth Street School, we have Nori Sato, Seattle artist, who has won an award from the National Public Art Network. That is at 6:30 p.m. That would be very interesting, considering her works are located in public places in San Francisco and Seattle's waterfront. Also, we have another one at historic Fifth Street School on April 16th, Dan Corson, and that is at 6:30 p.m. Also, he's been honored with the Public Art Network here, so I would encourage the public and anybody on the commission, since this is public art, if you can make those meetings and attendance, that would be appreciated. Just again, we have visual art scattered around the city for viewing pleasure. We have the stone sculptures that are also down in the Grand Gallery, which have been around through May 5th. We have Honor of African American Heritage, which is in the Chamber Gallery. That's through May 14th. Celebrating Life's Master exhibit at the Charleston Heights Art Center, and that's through April 22nd. I find an interesting one when we get to performing arts that I would like to suggest, sounds very fascinating, is the Crystal Concert that will be held at the Lloyd George U.S. Courthouse on March 20th, which is this Friday, noon to 1 p.m. These professional musicians do various popular classic melodies with crystal glass. So I think that would be a fascinating sort of thing to look at. Also, we have Hawaiian musicians. I can speak formally since I just got back there, so I know what it's about now. Saturday, March 21st, Historic Fifth Street School, $10 pre-sale, $15 door. That's March 21st, 8 p.m. That will be 2 Hawaiian musicians who are very accomplished, who will go through kind of the history of Hawaiian music. We also have, and I think that's really kind of what I would bring to the attention of everybody. Does any other commissioners wish to say what's coming up in the next week or so? Yes, ma'am.
It's not until May 2nd and 3rd. Sun City Summerlin has its annual art show, and it's really very talented artists today. I have some flyers if anyone's interested.
Okay. If you could just maybe leave 1 or 2 around, circulate one. And that's May
2nd and 3rd.
2nd and 3rd.
Sun City Summerlin.
Okay. Does anybody else have any remarks? Yes, sir.
We have an exciting day coming up. April 16th is going to be 18B Art District Day, and I hope you all can make it out. It's a very special time. It's the 3rd year that it's gone on, and it's really needs to work synergistically with everything that's going on and celebrate all that's been done, all that's going on, and what will happen in the future. So it's something for us to kind of share publicly what we've been working on. So we hope that we get to see all of you on April 16th at 5:30 at Boulder Plaza for 18B Las Vegas Arts District Day.
Anybody else have anything?
I do.
Yes, of course you do. Of course you do. Commissioner.
Tomorrow evening, starting at 6 p.m. until 8 p.m., there is a reception at the Marjorie Barrett Museum. We have work by an artist named John Millay. His 6 turned out to be 9. There's about 30 paintings of his that will be on an exhibition. And the center gallery is work by Deborah Ashheim called Kennedy Obsession. They're drawings from historic photographs around RFK and JFK, and the people that went to see them, to watch them, motorcades and things like that, both while alive and after their assassination. So it's tomorrow evening. You are invited, 6 o'clock at the Barrett Museum. Both artists will be there. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Yes. Okay.
And quickly, Lefter Center Art Gallery is continuing their exhibition called Trailblazers. It will extend till April 4th, 2015. And the West Las Vegas Art Center will have an observance of Poetry Month next month. They'll be having poetry Friday, April 17th at 7:30. And it's a mix of a diverse group of poets will perform their various works in a mini feature format that is sure to please.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything First Friday coming up?
Yes,
Okay.
First Friday's coming up.
Discovering that.
They moved it this month.
They did? Oh, I missed it this month, which is very rare for me to miss it.
Anybody else have anything? I would like to draw attention to one of our commissioners for receiving an award in fashion. I'd like to congratulate him very much. It's a very big award. You might want to talk a little bit about what it is about.
Oh, yes. The city of Seattle has the so-called Metropolitan Fashion Week, which is their version of New York Fashion Week. And as you know, Washington State is the 3rd largest garment manufacturer in the country. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, and so there was Metropolitan Fashion Week invites all the designers from different parts of the country, including New York. And out of 47 designers that has been doing their shows, I was chosen to be 2015 Designer of the Year. And so it's going to be held at the Seattle Arts Museum on the 11th of April. And I was told that Melinda Gates will give the award to me.
Congratulations.
Then maybe I can ask her for funds. For the Arts Commission.
Not directly.
Not directly.
Can't ask her
I know.
directly.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We haven't established out-of-state requesting.
Yes.
That hasn't gone through the city yet. Very good, and congratulations.
Thank you.
There are no other input or comments concerning cultural activities in the city. I would like to move on with a comment from our own staff.
Madam Chair Roman, I just have a few items. One is that we're finalizing the photographs for the architectural photography project, and I know many of you were involved with that, sitting on the selection panel, which is wonderful. There's been discussion for several months about the lbrscommission.com website, and I'm happy to announce the city is going to be taking charge of that website. We had a company, a private company that's been monitoring that, and we have to do certain things to make changes. So it will now come under the purview of the city, which is great. It's going to have a new look, and we want to roll it out sometime in April, but we don't have a firm date yet, but just look for that in April, which is wonderful. Just want to reiterate the two wonderful speakers we've got coming up, Nori Sato and Dan Corson. Both have won Public Art Year Review Awards, and you've all seen examples of some of those award-winning projects on April 1st and 16th, as Chairman Brogan has mentioned. And also we're looking at Artist Workshop number 2. The first Artist Workshop, we had 55 artists attend, and they were really excited about it. We covered a lot of the basics, so we're going to host another workshop probably in June, and I'll send you as soon as we get the firm date, I'll let you know. And we'll let all the artists know that we will pick up where we left off on the first workshop and delve into some of the areas that are particularly of interest for people who work in the public art field. So we're very excited about that. And lastly, I have a handout because there have been several questions and comments about the selection of the art bench, and I'd like Mark, if you'd like to go ahead and make an announcement about that.
Sure, I'm going to need to get some information from you. Since I didn't read it
Oh.
all. So, the art bench,
Thank you.
the person that we tried to contract with, we didn't come to terms with, so number 1 is off the table, but there has been a selection with our number 2 artist. And that person's name is
Gail Simpson,
Gail Simpson with
Actual Size Artworks.
Actual Size Artwork. So it is official now, we have artists, and the contract's pretty much done, I guess, right? So,
Almost here.
So I think that there's been some interesting conversation going on with that, but there is an artist that's been selected, so. Gail
Simpson.
Simpson.
So there's been a lot of questions about the process that we followed, and I think that want to make sure that everyone understands that we followed a very transparent process, that it's one that's used nationally in terms of the call to artists. So that's what this handout is about, to explain it so that all of you are well versed in how we selected the artist. We had the call to artists, which was posted both locally and nationally. We really got the word out on this. We made sure that everyone, every available website, that Arts Council, we have a wonderful list of artist emails. We sent it to all the artists' direct emails. So we really posted this vigorously. The city's purchasing department held a pre-proposal meeting for interested artists on November 24th. We had probably 30 people or more like 35, I think, that showed up. And they had very specific questions about the project itself and specifically about how do they apply for this. So that was a great meeting, and a lot of people attended, and I think some of them thought this is really great, I want to apply, and there were others who thought this is probably not the commission I want to be involved with. 27 artists qualified for the project, and their submissions were reviewed by a panel. And the panel had 2 people who were in this room, Brian Alvarez and ad hoc subcommittee. Mr. Abelman is also a business owner on Main Street. We had a staff member from Public Works. Because again, I want to reiterate, this was a project that is being funded by the Public Works Department. So we are really working closely with that department. We had a local artist on the panel, as well as a local architect and community arts leader. So we had a very diverse panel of people, and they selected the artists. They actually selected a first, second, third, and fourth choice artist. This was a blind jury process, and by blind jury, I mean that the information that was given to the panelists did not include either the name or the place of residence of who was applying for it. So the panel saw images of these 27 artists, but nowhere was their name given on the images. And then when it came down to looking at the resumes and other qualifications, the names were redacted and where they lived was redacted. So we tried to make this as anonymous as possible so the artists would be selected on their qualifications and their images. As Mark had mentioned, the first place artists, we went back and forth on negotiations, and ultimately it did not really lead anywhere, and because we have a really short timeline here, we went on to the second choice artist. And the notice to recommend was issued by the purchasing department to the actual size artworks. Some other things that you need to know is that City of Las Vegas Public Art Program, approximately 80% of all the projects that have been commissioned have been with local artists. That's quite a bit above the norm for cities, and mostly it's 50-50 of local artists versus regional or national artists. So I think it's important to note that. Let's see. Another important aspect is people worry about the dollars going out of the local economy. That works in some cases, but in this particular case, Gail's going to be working with local fabricators, local installers. There are other things in consideration here. She will have to hire equipment and so forth. So a lot of money that's going to be spent on this project is going to stay local. I think that's important to note. Also want to bring up that the signature sculpture, the Main Street Ad Hoc Subcommittee met, and they were recommending, and I believe it was passed, that a Clark County artist only be considered for the signature project. So I want to bring up that this is another opportunity for only local artists. Another thing is, as we mentioned, we've got another workshop, artist workshop coming up in June. The workshop we had in January was very well attended. And the whole point of that is so that local artists who may not have experience in public art, but have experience in gallery or museum art, can learn about the field and see if they really want to become part of this field. It gives them the tools that they need to know. It gives them the information. There was also a resource sheet that talked about why, how they can apply for commissions outside this area, Americans for the Arts. So there were a lot of resources that were given to people who attended that workshop. So, anyone would like to add to that?
I think that's a very good example of us going through the process. The write-up which we have in front of us, I was very impressed with, was kind of spelling out kind of the overview, since we've had a lot of discussions, and I won't go back through the discussions. I'd like to see this maybe get into the website where we do call for artists, and perhaps posted as an example, have it posted as a white paper, so that people can see how to do a process like that, because a lot of times we want to avoid that miscommunication and just people having rumor back and forth, and the commissioners can save a lot of time instead of trying to discuss it per se. Point them to the site, point them to the paper, and say, yeah, we questions. We'll answer other than that. Throw it back to the commissioners if that's okay.
Diane, this is great. Can you send this to me via internet?
Sure.
Email it to me, because I'd like to post this. And this is what we discussed at the PR meeting, that to have this in hand, so for whenever anything comes up, at least we have some talking points to tell the public.
Reiterates his point of clarification, which I think we need to keep sharing, so that everybody has the same information. So nobody's silent.
Any other discussions on this particular issue? If not, Diane, can you see see if this is posted the best way is what
What
people.
we'll probably do is possibly not post this as is, but give a good overview of how we usually advertise and the call for arts process, so people just know.
Okay. Well, you might keep in some of the bullet points about the percentages of
Yeah.
local versus national, because that is a sticking point for a lot of people. Okay, anything else?
No? I just want to go one point here too, and that is that a lot of our artists apply to work in other cities. So there's there's reciprocal arrangements and agreements that cities exchange artists. So most other cities use many, like Diane said, it's around 50% artists who don't come from their own municipality. So that it's great to allow, we would encourage our local artists to get this work in other cities as well. And when people exchange these creative flow of ideas back and forth from other cities, it's not just local. It's not just, universities never just hire their own graduates for the very same reason. So it's kind of nice. It's nice to be able to get other people in and see what they're doing. I just want to make that point.
I have a question though. So when a local artist asks me, what do you do as a commissioner for the Arts Commission? What do I have to tell them? Do I just say, oh, I just read the minutes and discuss it with the rest of the group?
Are you on a committee?
Oh, I'm in the subcommittee. But, because I'm confronted by a lot of artists because I have an event, which I already informed the group, every month, which is the fourth Friday of the month, where it is a networking event that I do, which brings all the creative people in the city to this event. So and they all know that I'm part of the commission. And so they have access to me, so they question me. Like, what do you really guys do being Arts Commission for the city of Las Vegas? So,
I think each commissioner will have their own presentation on how they view the commission and how they interacted. From my standpoint, when I run across artists, I encourage them to sign up for the call for artists, which gets them involved in the process. We also have the ability to point people to existing public art around the city to show example of what we've done. We even have a brochure for our visitors coming into the city to see what we do. But in the individual sense, since I've been on probably the commission as long as everybody, it's like all the other activities, we're very busy with our own worlds. It's what you want to put into it that's going to make the difference. If you have a lot of time, we welcome you to become chairman of the subcommittee and run with the ball, because this is a very volunteerism sort of thing, although we have great technical staff support, we have the support of the culture department. So I think you're in a position to listen to what, as we're talking about what happens around the city, which you're more involved in many parts, especially in fashion, more so than I am, that you have the ability to draw us into your world as well as we go into other people's world and expand our friends and our culture basis, which I think then goes out into the city itself, the citizens and people we meet. I've used some of these events to encourage other people to go to. So it's kind of what you want to put into it, and that's just my personal view. So.
And I think the public has a right to complain or whatever, but I think these talking points are really helpful. But people have to want to take it out on someone, and being informed and having good talking points to say, like, here's how that, I'm sorry you're upset about it. Like, even the PR marketing subcommittee, like, we can help create some kind of response for when, because people come at us on Facebook, people come at us at events and things like that, and people just feel slighted because they didn't get picked, and they're gonna pick and prod wherever they can, and we have to have a professional, best practices answer for when people do that, and that's something we can help with on the PR marketing subcommittee too, saying, here's we can help you with that.
well, it's just that I don't want to offend anybody.
Right, you got to have
You
a
know
best
what I'm saying?
practices.
And I kind of want to sound professional to them, that I know what I'm doing,
Right.
or being part of the commission. I don't want to sound like I'm doing my own personal comment on whatever they're commenting on me, because I represent the commission. So I just kind of want to throw it out there and see what is an appropriate approach
Right.
when one is confronted by community artists.
And if people do get upset,
raises a question for me as I kind of go to various meetings, that what is our plan, as master plan starts to get underway, what is the Art Commission's long-term strategic plan for growth? So that when people are, come to any of us, we have a very specific mission and vision in mind for, a certain amount of years. I'm really curious, do we have a mission and vision?
Well, we actually had a meeting earlier today that's going to be partly addressing that, which we were having PR people discuss with the city, and I'll leave that to Commissioner Alvarez to discuss the future marketing plan, which kind of would lead into that. But we also have, each year we have, quote, an annual meeting. In years past, it has been more formalized, and we've got together and discussed those sort of issues. But the future of art in the city, unfortunately, is predicated on budgetary issues as much as anything else, which limits us. One of the things that we've been pushing is more PR, more recognition of what we do as a commission. But again, your roles as commissioners are very important roles. You do go out to the community and convey in a certain way what the city is looking for in the way of kind of feedback from what you see as the cultural aspects of the city. So it's kind of, you're directing it. You don't need a game plan per se. You just need the ability to be yourselves and be activists in the community, because that's very important. That kind of leads it. And as to the point that you will face in your business as well as our business, is the Art Commission is at the center point of having criticism. Because art is subjective to the beholder, and we're going to have things that we see public art, and whether or not we put a palette on Main Street or paint brushes on Main Street, we're going to have kind of that reaction. But what we're seeing, if you look at it, is over the last several years, we have added to the look of the city, whether it's Life is Beautiful, whether it's Zappo's input in art, or whether it's us doing a few little public benches. We are changing the city, and we're doing it with a very limited budget. We're finding money and more power to the Cultural Affairs Department for scraping it together when we want to do something. So, yes, we can have an agenda and direction, and I think we're doing it. I don't think you sense it per se, but I think it's happening from these little meetings and bringing people in to speak down. We're bringing more people in to speak about their events, so we're more educated.
Can I also address what you just asked, Mark? And that is, it's a really good question you ask. And normally, we used to do our annual meetings. At first, they were day-long meetings. Then they were 4-hour meetings, where exactly the commissioners would sit. They'd review the best projects nationwide, which is really good for everybody to see what's happening. You can say, why am I looking at this? It's not local. But in reality, the public art field is national. It's international. And you need to be up with what's happening. So we always review that. The Public Art Network always provides that. We review that. And then we go over kind of goals, what we want to do the following year with the budget. When the budgets began to wane and trickle and almost stop, then that changed. When we also had our meetings reduced, we no longer could have 4-hour meetings. So it's kind of that retreat day-long, kind of recharging of the batteries. We could have a really meaningful discussion. We're not allowed to do that anymore. And that is unfortunate, because that was very helpful for everybody. However, Dan and I are talking, we haven't had a chance to ask Stephen his opinion of it, but at the annual meeting in June, if nobody wants to have a committee meeting, we can capture at least that 1 hour and extend our normal meeting to 2.5 hours, if everybody's willing to move it up to 2:30 or 2:30, and kind of go over some stuff and make it a true annual meeting.
And I think that raises the best point ever, where the educational component that you have in retreats and to understand the bigger picture helps you understand when you're out talking to people what it is that I do.
Yeah.
And at a level, how can we do it on a limited budget?
Right.
And those kind of goals that, how can, the big question in this room is how do we create more revenue?
Right.
We don't know how to do it. There's a funny scenario going on
So
as far as mask.
So do you think in order to avoid this, I think we should do a dialogue with a lot of community, people in the community, especially the local artists, at least once in 6 months?
Well, I think like this, like having the workshop is an example of that. And if people don't take the initiative and go to those things and they just want to complain, And there's lots of people like that who didn't read the RFQ, who don't know that they weren't even qualified to begin with to apply for the project, and then they're complaining that you didn't pick a local art. Like, okay, it was blind. It was blind for people to be getting upset that a local artist wasn't picked when it was a blind selection. I think that's a pretty quick answer to those people. It was a blind jury. The person who picked didn't pick because they were local or because they weren't local. They picked based on their merit and their talents. So everyone on the committee having as much information as possible like this is so helpful for when somebody tries to engage one of us on Facebook or something. I mean, people will attack us, and we're just trying to give the information that we have. And let's say we don't have this information, so doing things like this often so we can disseminate the information is really helpful, I think.
I would say, I guess that Dan and I are kind of used to being we're always on the defensive because people want to attack us all the time. And so we're kind of used to it. But I do hear what you're all saying. It's not...
Well, it's the thing is, I'm not comfortable because they're ganging up on me.
And you're saying,
Right. I mean, it's different when one person complains, but then when a whole room is complaining in the middle of your event, with all other people in the community listening, knowing that I'm a member of the Arts Commission, I cannot say something that's stupid or
incorrect.
Yeah.
one of the things that I had, which I also noticed too, is when I was first appointed, I went in with a lot of ignorance in a certain way, and luckily I had people in the cultural department and other people to give me direction and give me education on everything like that, which I'm still getting today. So I think maybe when we have some of these major issues come up, as we developed a white paper too, is we can disseminate to all the commissioners kind of what the collective, since you voted on it in the majority, what your position is, so you can have talking points when you show up. But you are indirectly a politician when you're out there. Politicians get fingers pointed in their chest.
I never wanted to be.
And it's also very rare, this is an advisory body. It's an advisory body to the mayor and city council.
And not only that, I think, people believe what they want to believe rather than to know the truth about anything. And so, but being, a member of the commission, you feel like that responsibility to kind of inform them, in a way where they're not offended. Or
Commissioner Diener just gave you a way out. You like the city council.
I know.
Okay, any other further inputs on it? But you've given us some very good points on that, and thank you Ryan, for your input on that. I'd like to move on into the subcommittees. Do we have a report, Commissioner Diener, on education?
I do have a report on the education committee, and that is, they are, the school district, we're doing a project with Valley High. All of you know, but some of the audience do not know, at Valley High School, and we've been working on it for many months now. It's called Valhalla. They've selected the name. I think it's also the name of their mascot for Valley High School. And all the students have been working with Mark Brandvik, who is the local artist that we brought in through a grant from the Nevada Arts Council to help work with them. So anyway, they had their exhibit of all their artwork. They've narrowed it down. Mark Brandvik is working with Stephanie Bray, the art teacher at Valley High School, to make the final tweaks on the two murals. They're going to be murals. And they break for spring the first full week of April. When they come back after April break, they will begin their murals, and they will complete their murals, and then we're going to have a little reception, and everybody will be invited, and we can see everything. So it's been a fantastic project. Downtown Projects, Downtown Achieves is a group of many different entities spearheaded by the city to target all of the schools in the downtown area that are at-risk schools. Valley High is one of those schools. Downtown Achieves had a meeting there 2 weeks ago, and I was at that meeting, and everybody went. Everybody from the school district, everybody that was at the meeting went and looked at the mural side. And actually, the art teacher is so excited about this and was so excited about the project from all the students that she's now trying to get more money to even take it further and really make this area, one side is music, one side fine arts, into this wonderful little outdoor amphitheater space. So, who knows where that will go. She may get some money for it. I think she's gonna go out there and do some kind of a blog that the school district allows them to do. So it's got nice tentacles. It's been a wonderful project to work on. And I have to say, of all the committees I've sat on this commission, which have been many, this is one of the most rewarding. So that's my report.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Commissioner Alvarez on public relations report.
Well, we met right before this meeting and had a good discussion with Diana Paul and with Jace Radke regarding what they can provide us as far as services is concerned, everything from putting us on television to tweeting and all of the other social media platforms to get our message out. We're actually going to go ahead and meet with them the week of April 6th to actually start putting together a one-page media plan for the Arts Commission with some bullet points. I'm pretty excited about that, and once we have that in hand, then we can bring it to the Commission for approval, and we can start working on that, or building off of that.
I think the door was opened. They were very receptive of helping us. I thought it was very positive. One of the things that I want to emphasize both to the subcommittee is that we did meet with them a year ago, and nothing happened. They went their way, we went our way. So I think we have a good opportunity now to chase them down and come up with, again, this marketing plan, which will help define some of our direction, would be very positive to get it down and do it. So it was a very good meeting today.
I thought so. And the fact that we can use the resources such as TV and get some of the commissioners either to be part of it, some sort of show, or to actually send out any kind of tweeting, Instagram thing about our local art, especially the public art stuff. It's, I think it was a good meeting.
Tommy, you were there also?
Yep, they're also looking for us to identify like 5 to 10 potentially, things we want to promote, to put in that media plan. What is it that we want to focus on? What kind of, are there specific things coming up? Let's not miss anything on that media plan, so that they have a nice calendar of the things that are going on, and if like we were also talking about, one of the things we want to promote is just letting people know that we exist and what we do, and so for us that was one of those 10 items. So doesn't necessarily have to be an unveiling or something like that, but if there's something that anyone wants to put on that list of topics to talk about with the city's public information office for them to help us with in the media kit, let us know. Media plan.
That's kind of exciting, I think, because it ties into sharing with the community what we're doing and the need for support and help that we're really in dire need of. So I think that's really great.
And as soon as we get the information about the mural, and as soon as we're going to be painting the mural, that's a really nice action type of thought. That would be something that we want to cover.
And that meeting coordinated with Diane Force on the website thing, getting that back too. So maybe we could raise money for the art and public art by creating a reality TV show with the art commission. That would help David get his position out there. Never mind.
Actually, we can do that.
Yes.
Because I'm well.
Never. Okay, anybody else? Moving on to the next item, which is very important to us. Discussion, number 9, discussion for possible action regarding additional funding from the Municipal Art Fund, not to exceed $45,000 for the Main Street signature, and emphasize that signature sculpture, Ward 3. Who would like to lead that conversation? Do we have the question is, do we have $45,000 in the budget for this project? Okay.
I leave it by saying yay.
Okay. Make a motion quickly.
I'll make a motion.
Is there any discussion? We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on this item? If you recall that we had from the Public Works Department $100,000, and this was a discussion. And I point out, this is again positive action by the commission because commissioners brought up the need to find additional monies. The question was raised, can we get additional money? You all found the money, heard about it, and here we are today.
So this is 45,000 in addition to 100,000? So now we have 145 for the project.
Right. And keep in mind, one of our goals, though I don't think we have time necessarily to do it, was to run out, try and get press to see if we could even find matching monies from some contributor there. And I think that's still a press release that may need to happen sooner than later.
And then where does this 45,000 come from?
It's percent for our fund for the city.
It's I'm sorry, the what fund?
The percent for our.
Oh, percent for-
The city's percent for our fund.
So it's just an extra money that was lying around?
No, pools, not fund pools.
She might have her own list of.
We're gonna start that list.
That's the second set of books.
Okay, I was just curious, like, where did it come from?
But,
So this is not coming out of our normal art commission budget?
in a way, yes.
In June, when you voted, we had 100,000, and then you voted on that. We dedicated 30,000 to Charleston Heights,
Right.
20,000 to the West Side Gate design, so we had money left over.
Oh, so it was left over that we hadn't spent. Okay, so I was trying to understand what we're not buying, I guess,
Yeah.
if we do this.
Right. No, it's there.
Okay. So this money could be like any project that it could have been attributed to any project that we come up with, but.
And it could still, if you don't spend it this year, it'll just sit there and pool for next year.
I guess so that's my question, is the reason we want to add 45 to the signature project because 100 isn't sufficient to accomplish what we want, or just,
That's for the committee to address, I think.
I would say that, when we were talking to a couple artists one of the days, 100 is not going to go very far for a signature piece that is going to be sitting really in view of City Hall. It's a signature piece, so 100,000 isn't going to go very far.
We really try to get matching to make it even more so to get a high quality.
no, and I feel that I guess I have a little bit of reservation about funneling all the money to one project versus.
What if we need it for something?
Yeah. That's my only comment.
Well, the money we'll get some more money, actually, we won't know how much for a while, because that SIP budget funds, when that money starts to roll around, it's like a cycle thing, so we will have more. We may have to wait until next December, January to find out what that is.
Right.
But, yeah,
So if we do this, we only have one funded project and for the foreseeable future.
no, there'll be some more money in that, but it's set aside for budget, for maintenance, we keep money in there for maintenance.
Right, but we won't be able to fund an entirely new project, is what I'm saying.
It will depend on the project,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true, nothing major.
Okay.
Well, we had this discussion on this particular project as being tied in, and we were also looking for money from other agencies.
Well, I don't dispute that. I just think we have to be very careful that the art isn't all congregated in just the downtown core.
Will not disagree.
So that's my only reservation and why I may not be inclined to support.
And I just want to bring up what SIP is, because I don't think everybody understands what the SIP is. It's CIP, Capital Improvement Projects. And when the city decides whether it's going to build a new, it usually is associated with new buildings. And 1% of that is to go into the Percent for Art Fund, which is something that's done in most major cities. So we don't know until the council approves what projects are going to be built, what our percentage of that is going to be.
So it could be 9 months, a year, year and a half. if we get
Oh, no, we'll know, because it's on the cycle, we put
Okay.
it on the cycle, yeah. And we're in budgets right now, we'll know, but I don't know what the dollar figure will be.
I have a bit of a question that I don't think could be answered. I think we probably would have to do some kind of research, but like what in other cities qualifies as a signature piece, and what in other cities does that cost? I mean, do we have specific examples of that? And does that 45,000 get us closer? Is that really, or are there signature pieces in cities that are,
You know what, I'm just going to jump in here, and I'm going to tell you that real significant pieces of public art are millions and millions
Right.
of dollars. The Bean, Cloud Gate in Centennial Park, Anish Kapoor is the artist. I believe that they may have paid like $10 million for that, but ultimately the cost was $35 million to the city of Chicago. Because there were maintenance, there's still maintenance, there are always maintenance issues. And so, I've always said it, and I've said it many times in this meeting, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a truly significant, but, the price tag's like
Right.
$5-6 million.
and what can we get for, like, is the 45,000 taking it out of something else that we might need it for? Is it getting, is it really getting, how much closer is
Well, I
it
think
getting
that's
us?
maybe what
Right,
you were
same
saying.
question, yeah.
And that's also why we're having serious discussions about seeking outside funding from contributions. I mean, that's the direction we have to go.
And I want to clarify a point too, that we use the word signature for this piece on this project because we didn't want to use, was it the word we came up with, the gateway?
Gateway.
We want to avoid that. And so it's really, I don't know if it's really a signature piece per se for the city, it's more for that project.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
I
point.
wanted to clarify that is a word we used, and maybe we need to go away from that word again too, to your point. Because if you're thinking about some of the bigger cities like Chicago, their signature pieces, like this doesn't pale. No. Do we really have that here? Where would it go? Right? I mean, that's just a rhetorical question.
Any further discussion? We have a motion on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
One opposed.
I'm going to abstain.
And one
Not,
abstention.
yeah.
Okay, still carries by majority.
Can you say the abstention?
I abstain.
No, the reason I abstain.
Oh, just not enough information.
Okay. Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
Martin.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's followed.
Okay, this is still positive news since we are going to be doing a lecture, so we'll start the process, and I think the process is being now to begin looking for artists and putting that together, right? Very good. Number 10, I would like to introduce Lauren Hinkle, Sin City Gallery, who has a presentation. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. Greetings, everyone. So I'm Dr. Laura Hinkle. I have over 10 years nonprofit corporate experience in the arts. 5 years ago, I opened up Sin City Gallery. Sin City Gallery is a small space inside the Arts Factory. It's 250 square feet. I've enjoyed it quite a great deal because it's allowed me to venture off and do other projects, nationally and internationally. 4 years ago, since I've traveled around the world, and I just see great things for Las Vegas, and it seems like everyone wants to come here, I thought, well, how can I branch out? So 4 years ago, I came up with the idea of creating an international jewelry art show. Since my gallery is so small, and it's Sin City Gallery, I thought, all the artwork needs to be 12 inches in size and under, so I can get as much artwork in the gallery. So I called it 12 Inches of Sin, not even thinking what it was going to lead to. So it's one of the most provocative shows of the year. A little background, too, about me. I have a doctorate in human sexuality, and my PhD is in erotology, specializing in museum science. I've actually put together some art facilities, and quite large. And so putting together 12 Inches of Sin, I'm like, okay, how can I make this work? So I contacted 12 people I knew internationally, asked if they would be judges. They all agreed. So the first year I put the call out, I had 40 artists from 5 countries. I was really thrilled about that. The second year I put the call out, ended up with 3 times the amount of entries. Ended up with 150 or so, and it went up to 10 countries. At that point I realized my original model was not correct because I was just focusing on a few pieces of art. So I expanded the show. I created La Salon de Reposé du Coucher, which is the rejects of Sin. So the second year I actually had participants that were accepted in the top 12, and then the rest became part of a salon show. At that point, it again grew, and I created another group of 12 judges. This time it was, I'm on the committee of 12 judges. We picked the best top 12, and then those top 12 then go to another group of international judges, top 12, and I don't even get to vote to pick the best in show. The best in show gets a solo show here in Las Vegas. Every year I create art catalogs, and the winner is always on the cover, along with getting their solo show. The third year, I again increased in size. I have now 3 books under my belt. I decided to submit the books to retailers. Retailers accepted, and they placed orders for the books. This year, I actually had 300 submissions, and altogether 20 countries have participated. This May, I have artists coming over from Bulgaria, Iraq. 10 artists from outside of the state are coming in town, and then Altogether, there's 41 artists that are exhibiting, and 8 artists were voted in from Las Vegas. So it's very much local and international. At the present time, because I'm just a little bitty gallery, and now I have this incredible opportunity to put these fabulous art books into stores nationally, I've created a Kickstarter campaign. Commissioner Alvarez wanted me to show you the video, so I'll just go ahead and show the video. But yeah, that is 12 inches of sin. It's just so much art, you can barely fit it all in. It's amazing. It was something that just turned out to be just a simple, organic little exhibition, and now it's turned into an extremely international show. Part of the judges that are on the exhibition panel, they are the curator for the Kinsey Institute out of Indiana. They do all the archiving. They are founders of art festivals in different countries, founders of museums. There's also artists, so it's a very wide spectrum, so it really represents all the different art all around. So maybe you show the video?
Absolutely. Just say something really quick. It's like, I love your gallery.
Thank you.
I just want to really acknowledge what you do for the community. And I really would like you to share about some of the lecture series you've been to. I think there's important, you really brought some really important lectures that touch on some very great topics. Censorship in art, I think, was one of them. And I think that's a really important conversation to be had in the community. So would you touch on some of the lectures you've done?
Sure.
The importance, I think, to us in the community.
Definitely. Well, I'm an educator at heart, so I believe in sex education through art. I believe art is a catalyst and a platform for expression, people to explore, people to engage in conversation. So whenever the opportunity arises, I usually create some sort of lecture series pertaining with what art is being shown at the gallery. September, I always do something that is LGBTQ oriented. So that artists could be local, they could be national, they could be international. I actually put a panel together, which was really fun. It was basically, what is queer art? No one could answer it. Even the people on the panel, there was no consensus of what queer art is, but it was just a fabulous dialogue. We had, I think, 20 to 30 people showed up for that conversation. It was really great. This exhibition I've got going on, it's actually the art of shibari. It's rope, the art of rope. And people often misconstrue what it is. I think especially now since the 50 Shades of Grey came out at the same time, that was not timed, but it happened that way. But the art of rope, it's where the ropes are the paint and the body's the canvas. So it's been really exciting to have people come into the gallery, and it just starts conversation. With my background, I just let people explore and talk, and it's just fun to hear the dialogue. This Sunday, we're actually having the artist talk at Cockroach Theater. We've completely kind of outgrown this 250 square foot space. So we're going to be having an artist lecture that day. And we're actually going to have models there as well, who are the ones being taught, so they can articulate and explain, what it means for them, and people can ask questions, and it's just a dialogue. And just to let you know, shibari goes back 1,000 years to Japan. It was actually initiated during war. If you were captured in a prisoner of war, the way they tied you up on the field determined your rank in the military. It's all the weird stuff kind of happens in Japan, but I don't know if it goes that way. I could go on without some other stuff. But I just feel that it's very important to have that educational component. I think sexuality is one of those things that people are not comfortable talking about, and art is just a fabulous medium to engage and, explore.
Okay, shall we see the...
Am I in your way here?
I don't know. I didn't know if I was supposed to do that or not.
Oh, it's on the web.
Yeah. So basically this is the Kickstarter, and it's going to show, I think you just push the button. It'll give you a little information about what's going on.
Still off.
The screen is off.
Yeah.
Every time. I think you see me turn that on.
Let's turn the screen on.
It's on the,
Wait, hold on. I'll tell you that. I mess up stuff.
Was it on for a second?
Sleep.
Should be on.
can go to Kickstarter, and it's Children to the Sin. I am raising money for the printing costs to actually fulfill the orders. It's kind of a unique situation to be to have distribution in place but no product to give. So I'm asking for $25,000. So far, we're at the $15,000 mark, and we have 12 days to go. So we're pushing right. So yeah. So thank you for allowing me to talk. I apologize, I'm a little scattered. I only had 2 hours sleep, so I'm a little tired.
I was thinking, so linear, such a linear explanation.
Oh, good. Well, maybe didn't have Leslie long. But thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it, sorry we weren't able to see that.
Oh, that's okay. No.
Anybody
We'll
else
watch
have
it.
Questions, yes?
I did, Dr. Laura, I just wanted to thank you. I've known you for many years now. I remember taking you to Northern Nevada on our first road trip
Yeah.
when you said Nevada instead of Nevada, and
Yeah.
everybody.
Everyone.
But it was all right. They were Northern Nevadans. They're okay. You know, they'll get over it. But what you've done in the community has been great, and your gallery is one of the hottest in the city. Las Vegas needs a little bit more provocativity, I guess you could put it that way. We need more sex in the city. We are Sin City after all, and
Very conservative.
and we need more sex. And I encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. You've brought on some great shows.
More
So-
intelligent sex, you know.
We've been lucky. We've had Bunny Yeager, who's exhibited at the Warhol Museum. I had a show for her. Her next show was at Art Basel. I mean, it's been really wonderful to present local, national, and international artists to Las Vegas. I'm an avid advocate of downtown. One of the reasons why I keep my gallery so small is I do like to take projects on that either on the Strip or in another state, and I still maintain the gallery no matter what. With the people who have helped with the gallery, we've put over 100 shows at the gallery. So,
I'd like to piggyback that a little bit by saying that as we've lost a very important gallery in this town this year, Trifecta, we really need to support the galleries that are here. So we're really being
and on that request, I request to please be on the Arts Commission website. I put a request to be on the website, and so it would be nice to have maybe current listings. That would be fabulous. So.
We're just getting it back in our control, so.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for the compliments.
Thank you. I'd like to draw attention. Does any other commissioners have any other items? I'm going to now go to number 11, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items by the Arts Commission. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual commissioners shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items. And any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are within the purview of the commission and/or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. Does any commissioner have any item they would like to discuss in a future agenda? Yes, sir.
I do. I'd like to invite Fremont East Studios to give a presentation on their video programming that they do here in downtown Las Vegas.
Fremont Street Studios.
Fremont East Studios.
Fremont
Yes.
East. Diane, can you make a note of that? Any other commissioners?
Yes.
Any other commissioners have a group or organization we can handle one or two at our meetings?
Yeah, it doesn't matter which month it is, and I'm not sure. But along the mural project idea, I've been reaching out to Rosborn, and I really would like to have him come and present if I can get him here. That might be a challenge, but I really feel like the history of what he knows of the murals in the Arts District is really important, and I think it really needs to be celebrated and looked at very carefully before. So I'd really like to see if perhaps he could come either next month or
We can extend the invitation again. We have two different organizations.
okay. And then I do have a question, and I'm not sure if we're going to discuss it next time, but the Boulder Plaza project that was on the board, what's happening and where are we going from here?
My understanding is it's going forward.
Well, as you all know, we didn't get the Blue Book grant, unfortunately. So Boulder Plaza just has to sit there to see if we get any funding in this budget cycle. If we have the possibility for funding there, then we'll bring back the whole idea of a community garden to the plaza.
So was there, I mean, I thought there was discussion there was 150 to be carried out, there would be something done no matter what. Was that?
Well, depending on if we can get 150 out of this budget that they're working on now. We won't know that until probably the end of April. We don't have
I guess
150,000.
it's an agenda item, because I'd like to hear more about that, how it happened to the money that was there.
There was never any money there. It's- No, we never had any money allocated to Boulder Plaza. We went for the Bluebird grant for $1 million, and then we tried, we cobbled together a match through labor and different things that we could match with. But then I went to Public Works and I said, if there's any way we can carve out some money for this, let's see if we can. But those budgets are on, we're working on those budgets now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'd love to
if,
know more about the details of that.
if that budget's approved and that money, and I really seriously doubt if it will be there, but if it is there, then it'll be up front and center on this agenda for discussion. We can discuss it either way, but if there's no money to fund it, then
I guess I just think I need clarification now.
Why don't you just get together with
yeah,
me?
that's fine, and we can discuss
I don't know
it.
if
Depends
that's
how
the
long the
agenda
thing
item.
is. That's a great idea.
Happy
Don't
to
run me
talk
over
about
when you're driving for coffee, though.
I'll stop.
Okay.
Any other commissioners have items they'd like to put on the future agenda? Yes.
I would like to invite Vegas Live TV over to the Arts Commission, not only because I'm part owner of that network, it's also because the idea that, as you were discussing for PR, for example, we are the only local network, the only Las Vegas network that exists today. And we are our channel. We have 2 channels for Cox Cable. We have channels for CenturyLink. We have Free TV, which is the antenna, because not everybody subscribes to cable. And as a matter of fact, Zappos project, which is Downtown Podcast, we air it for them for free.
The Downtown Projects.
Yeah.
Project, not Zappos, right? they're two
Oh, yeah,
different-
Downtown Project. So I would like to invite them, because probably in the future agenda that the PR would like to do sort of local television that promotes the Arts Commission.
Okay. Sounds good. Why don't we also include that direction to the PR commission when they
Yeah.
discuss with the city, see how you all may be able to fit it.
And by the way, it's shown in 15 million households all over Asia. So it is a great advertising for Las Vegas as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Any other discussion items? Anybody in the audience have any comments? Yes, please. Please stand and identify yourself.
Melissa Peterson, President of the Contemporary Arts Center. I'm here to personally invite all of the commissioners to our event April 7th at the Smith Center. We have Michael Govan, who is the Executive Director of the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Dave Hickey, which many on the commission will probably remember, was a professor at UNLV and a well-respected art critic. And the possibility of Stephen Lasky. Stephen Lasky will be joining the panel to represent a local collector of Heiser's work. The panel will focus mainly on land art, its importance within contemporary art, and then we will discuss Michael Heiser's city project. The general admission is at 6:15, but the VIP reception is at 5:30. So if any of you would like to attend, just get a hold of me and I'll put you on the list.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is this a free event, Melissa?
It is free.
You could be making money here.
We could, CAC could actually make money charging admission, but we've had a colorful past for a couple of years, and we would like to present to the community what we are capable of doing for soliciting funds. So if you do attend the event and you are impressed with our level of programming, we will gladly
Take your donation.
Okay.
I would also like to remind commissioners and people in the audience that the city clerk will stamp your parking pass. Forget to remind everybody. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So,
Been moved for adjournment, this meeting of the 19th